serpentine conversion with the 2 belt for 440 RB block. It kind of moved a little bit, so I'm gonna alright, so I left this one in. I don't see the need to take this out. It's not in the way. And then I've gone ahead and torqued this bolt here down to 30 now. Spacer here. This was that T-nut I was talking about. Here's the T-nut, back side. Thread this on so it goes in. It's supposed to rest inside of there. The bolt for the adjustable arm was too long. It was sticking out. This is the one that came with it. I went ahead and just kind of cut off about a 1/4 inch. I'm not going to torque that one down yet because I need it to do the adjustment, right? But I can torque down the rest. For the power steering pump, I went with a tankless one. I got this one from Bergman Auto. I took this one out. There's 2 of these in the back, and this is all based on the instructions. The instructions are pretty good. But I took this out, and there was a bolt that came with it. So I re-threaded the bolt that came in. It's just a hex head bolt through here with 2 washers, and then it wants 2 washers on this side, so these 2 clamp over here, and then on this one a 1/2 inch spacer goes through, and then it's got this T-nut on the other side. This extra thread here on the back side will be used for the AC compressor. I had to remove the bolt for the water pump housing, so I had to remove the original ARP bolt that I had here and put the bolt they gave me. Now when I put this bolt in, the block must have not been drilled out deep enough because it was shallow. So there was, when I was tightening it, it got about a 1/4 inch from here, and I couldn't tighten it anymore. And there was some play in the adjuster arm, so I went ahead and cut off a 1/4 inch. Adjusting arm goes on the bottom, also with a spacer. So you got 1/2 inch spacer, or like it's almost a half. It's a little over a 1/2 inch. This one I think is a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch spacer, 1/2 inch spacer, 4 1/4 inch bolt, adjusting arm, and then through here. So you still have this other open thread. So that kind of gives you an idea is the orientation. This is here, this is here. Give you a sheet, CVF, the torque specs. Which is so the back of the alternator, where you put the wire to the battery is on, is touching the block. I might have the wrong belt here, maybe, but the other one doesn't seem to. Maybe something is wrong. So if I pull it all the way up, it's fine. It all works, right? I could actually even tighten this all the way down. That works. problem is when I put the belt on, it ends up being shorter. Let me see if I put the wrong belt here. See here, my assumption is that's going to ground out the battery, so I'm a little concerned here about that. Earlier in the video it was calling out that this is battery is touching the block. I realized I'd never done this before, and I did read the instructions, and it said something about clocking your alternator. I didn't quite get it the first time around, but I understand now. You essentially are just rotating the casing so that these pieces are, so these certain components are oriented to a more desirable spot. I think it also said don't pull it all the way out, so I'm trying. Oop. Okay, maybe that works. Okay. So I've got this adjuster here. I got the belt on. You can see the bracket comes behind here, and it creates a binding there. So as you tighten this, right, it's got, you know, the right support structure to kind of keep everything, you know, moving in the right direction. I was actually putting it here. And that was hitting the fan blades. It didn't make sense, but when I originally tried it, and the reason why I'm pointing this out, just in case somebody may do the same thing I did, is it didn't seem like it fit at first. But this black bracket goes on the back side, and I don't think that picture kind of really depicted that. There's like a half-inch spacer here. No spacer here. It's just a lock washer and the one arm of the adjuster. You've got your bracket here, the alternator bracket that goes into your water pump housing, And then on the top here, you've got a, I would say like close to a 1/4 inch spacer here, and then a big spacer here, and then into the block. I put my ground wire on first. That bolt is, at least on here, this configuration, I wasn't able to get the bolt all the way out, so I cut like a 1/4 inch off of it, so in case I needed to take that off for some reason. But then again, getting a wrench in here is actually quite difficult. I've got my original harness wire to the car, to the dash, and then I've got my new painless 6-gauge wire here. So I'll torque these down. They give you a torque sheet. It's not that intuitive for me either. It's doesn't really talk to these bolts too much. I don't know if it's just I'm not able to read the picture or the image of it, but it doesn't quite give me a clear indication what I need to torque these down to. Also, I'd like to point out is if you these hex bolts here, Allen wrench bolts here, I have one that's stripped on me. They seemed a little soft metal wise. That's my only real gripe about the kit. So I put the original bolts in here for the water pump pulley, and I'm going with electric fan, so I torque these down. But I don't know. I don't like these at all. But everything else seems pretty cool. Okay. So I bought a conversion kit. I didn't buy the well, there's a conversion kit, but there's a couple different kits they have. The kit that I have it's a multi-belt system. It's not a true single serpentine belt. It's a different offering that they have. When I bought this kit, I ordered with the black pulleys, and that kit was I guess in their system set to give you this belt here, which goes around the crank, water pump, and alternator. Okay, 080450 is what I originally had, and this one is slightly short, which was preventing me to get this alternator up high enough so that the configuration for the adjusting arm was where it needed to be. So I presented that to them, and they go, "Hey, it seems like our package items had the wrong." It has this belt with the chrome pulleys, which is basically the same number, but with an 8. So this is the belt that you'll want to get if you get this conversion, this type of conversion. Not the there's like a ultimate or a more in-depth one that has a plate that allows you to set up one belt. But this one's probably about almost an inch longer, which allowed me to bring this alternator up just a little bit more. So I just wanted to call that out.